Okay, I'm here today to talk to you about the anatomy and makeup of an energy vortex. I'm looking over here, tell my rods which way. There's an energy vortex right here. You've seen this before. This is a holy place. This is a pretty decent sized energy vortex. I'm going to explain to you what its makeup is. Two things distinguish an energy vortex from other things. First off, it is human made. It's in cooperation with Mother Earth. We've gotten together in conjunction. Humankind with Mother Earth has gotten together to create an energy vortex, which is distinction from something like an earth chakra that regulates the life force. So when you look at an energy vortex, that's one thing to know. First off, it's a coordination and birth created by Mother Earth and humankind. The second thing is it moves energy. So now I'm looking at this one here moves energies of different types. It moves what we call meditation, spiritual prana, love prana. This is the prana, the energy that we get when we do loving acts. If you want our soul to evolve, every time we get an extra dose, we're immersed in this, but this is the cosmic prana, the meditation prana. I say, which way is it going? It's going this way. So my rods are pointing in that direction. That's where it's going. But what happens as I get closer to the vortex, it's going to start pulling in the energy. The energy is pulled in. That's why you meditate in a vortex, because you get this extra dose of energy. And there's different types of energy. This pulls in the love. This will nourish your soul, versus the life force that energy healers work with. That will heal your physical body. The other thing about an energy vortex that makes it so unique is that it can be either positive or negative. And that sounds like, whoa, what are you talking about? It's hard to believe that there is a morality in our world. This upends science. It defies science because it says that if we do things out of loving, caring acts, we create a positive energy vortex above Earth. Below ground, we create a blind spring. Science will say that's not possible. Basically, just through our intentions and actions, we've created something wonderful. It's earth magic. Whereas a negative energy vortex forms where bad things, where people have been hurt, killed, maimed, thought violent thoughts. So those are the three things that distinguish an energy vortex. So, it's important because people talk about, well, there's all sorts of energy vortices, like an earth chakra that regulates the life. That has a vortex, but it is a part of Mother Earth. Now, the two features of an energy vortex regarding the anatomy of it is it's the imprint and the vortex itself. And what is the imprint? The imprint is consciousness. There's a philosophy of Hinduism called Samkhya that looks at the world between Shiva and Shakti, consciousness and energy, and consciousness rules, and Shakti works for Shiva, which is conscious. This is the same thing. An energy vortex is that sort of consciousness, that consciousness, that imprint is that consciousness, whereas the vortex is the energy inherent. So what is an imprint? An imprint is a thought, a pattern of behavior, our action. Whenever we do something, whenever we think something, we create an imprint, and that imprint attaches to the space where we do it. It attaches to our body, to nearby objects, whatever. That creates an imprint. If we continue to feed that imprint, assuming it's a positive, loving imprint, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Now, this imprint, I should say, consciousness has a vortex circular pattern to it. So people say it's a sea of consciousness. Well, that's why the world is full with these swirls. So this consciousness here, this swirl of consciousness, the energy begins to be manipulated by the consciousness, the imprint. The imprint itself gets so strong. Like, for example, I'm out here, we get positive outside, but if I come in here, it's that much stronger. So around here is still strong. But what I'm saying is that the imprint, the consciousness, is a spiral form. The spiral is consciousness. That's why so much of the world is made up of spiral forms, whether it be seashells or serpents or things like that. They have a spiral form. That's the same spiral why a logarithmic spiral is used by technical analysts on Wall Street, because it can predict it. Everything, just about as its core, has a vortex or spiral form to it, because it is consciousness. We live in a sea of consciousness. Now this imprint gets so strong that it's begun to movement of energy. So now energy is like moving here, moving in, being pulled in, and which is good. You want to sit in here, you want to meditate in a place like this, because all this increased energy is coming into you and nourishing your soul. It can significantly enhance your relationship. Now, what an imprint in a vortex tells you is that the imprint is so powerful that it's begun to move energy. Energy follows thought. So in other words, when you meditate in a vortex, the imprint that commands it is so strong that it's begun to move the energy. And the imprint could be one of love, compassion, caring, giving. That is going to be merging with you. And you also have to realize whoever created this has to be of a good heart. And you're going to be merging with their consciousness. So many benefits to be had by meditating in an energy vortex. So that's it. Now, so it is that consciousness, that sort of nourishing that comes into, that is going to nourish your soul. It's just an incredible thing, and I encourage you to go find them. You're not going to find vortices, energy vortices, in places that are very popular, that you read about on YouTube, that you read in the magazines, you see on YouTube. Believe me, there's no vortex where these people are telling you. This is a hidden place. There's other places that are hidden. I've showed you. They're in remote places because consciousness merges with the consciousness it comes in contact with. So this imprint is really, really, really powerful. Now, if I want to say, how big is the imprint? Look at that. The imprint extends all the way out here. So from the center part, which is about where the green is there, you're talking 10 to 12 feet. The imprint is 25 feet, but look at it. It's still fairly strong, but it's not, doesn't have the strength that it had. So the imprint, generally speaking, is stronger, that is larger, I should say, and an imprint in an energy vortex is particularly strong and sought after. If you are on a spiritual path, this is where you should come. Now, the other thing to an energy vortex, as I said, is the imprint and the vortex itself. And now we'll look at the vortex. And so I've outlined the vortex here. See this here? This is the outline of the vortex. So I'm following it This is where the vortex, so if I come here, so remember about my rods will start turning somewhere around here, right? So this form here is what I call a vortex ring. This is the precursor to the formation of an energy vortex. So even if the energy vortex dissipates, this will be the next thing to dissipate. But a vortex ring, I sometimes find them in the woods. They're remnants, spiritual embers of what was there before. But a vortex ring tells you an energy vortex is about to form. Now, when we look at an energy vortex, the movement of energy, we can say, well, the energy is pulled in. Well, there's many different routes and avenues that the energy goes into the vortex with. Now, the first off, this sort of here, what I call this vortex ring, there's a spiraling around. It's just spiraling around, spiraling all around. So that's the first roll of energy. And then you have this sort of like another spiraling in, all sorts of different little paths. So there's many different forms of movement. Energy's moving in many different ways. And finally, there's what is called the implosion. If you're familiar with Victor Schauberger, or you're familiar with the free energy movement, they all talk about implosion. We, as a society, use explosion. We destroy, we're destructive. Implosion means love, compassion, done it in harmony with Mother Earth. So what ends up happening is there's a flow of energy directly in, directly in, directly in, directly in. There's a whole flow of energy going directly in. So there's a variety of energies that are doing this, that are flowing into this, that are nourishing this. And again, you want to be in there because when you're in here, if you meditate in here, you're just going to get all that love. So you're going to get the consciousness coming from the imprint, but then that extra dose of, and this is what I would call cosmic meditation, love prana. This is the stuff, when we do loving acts, that we get an extra dose of this stuff whenever we do loving acts, and our soul evolves. This will help your soul evolve. It's spiritual nutrition. It will make you a better person. Let me turn off here and get my chemical. So I'm here now with this sort of seat cushion. I've been telling you all to get this seat cushion. I got a video on it. I don't know. People aren't paying attention to me for some reason. Get a seat cushion, a sportsman cushion. Get a little clip, attach it to your backpack. What's with this thing? There's a vortex on it. How big is it? It's friggin' big. That's maybe 10, 12 feet. So it's 20, 25 feet in diameter. I've had this for at least 15, 16 years. So what I'm telling you, if you are into meditation, if you are on a spiritual path, get one of these, because this has got a vortex. It's not going to have somebody else's imprint, but what it's going to do, it's going to nourish your soul and raise your consciousness and just leapfrog your path. I mean, it's going to put your spiritual path in hyper mode. So I encourage you, it might take a couple years for an energy vortex to form, but when it does, it'll put it into hyper form. So anyway, that's it. So this has got the same sort of pattern going on, a huge samskara, and very other things with you. But just realize, find an energy vortex in the woods. They are in the woods. They're not in public places. They used to be in public places, but we do not have like a loving, caring society. But if you can, try to go in the woods. I'm in the Northeast. I found them all over the Northeast, and they are remote places where people may have, Native Americans may have done ceremony, prayed, and they are there. So that's where you find them. You're not going to find them going to some popular, new age, trendy place. They're just vortices do not exist in them. They may have at some time, but you're not going to find them. That is because it interacts with the consciousness that comes in contact. This thing is constantly interacting with people that come in contact with. So that's it. I hope it helps. If you're on the spiritual path, please spend some time, learn how to dowse, learn geomancy, watch my videos, learn about the power of a vortex. I got a book, I talk about it in my life. It can really leapfrog and put your spiritual progression on hyperdrive. That's why people get all excited about them, but they don't know why they get excited. I'm telling you why you should be excited about it and the wonderful things they do. Thank you for your time and consideration. Please like and subscribe. Namaste! So there you go.